Welcome. You're watching Learning with Gut Punch Media at YouTube University instead of reading the manual. Thanks for joining us for this no-nonsense lesson on Play the Clip.
Be raw.
That's on offer. This is indeed a lesson on Be Raw, where I guarantee you will learn something that you didn't know. I don't care how much you think you know about Be Raw, you are definitely going to learn something in this video. You have my personal guarantee. And if you do learn something, you must add a like to this video. Come on. It doesn't cost you anything, eh? Don't be a wanker, get schooled, and then not give us a click. For today only, I'm accepting likes at no charge. And if I teach you more than you knew coming in, then you go press that subscribe button, because I promise, if you don't subscribe, you will never ever find our next video. This is a new channel, yeah? Without you pressing that subscribe button, you won't see any of our other videos. That's the deal. You learn something, give us a like. Learn more than one thing? Yeah? You give us a subscribe. Okay. I trust you. Let's do this. I'm going to be showing you things on a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K, but what I teach you will also apply on the Pocket 6K, the 6K Pro, the new Pyxis, and Ursa Cameras, and also the Cinema line of cameras from Sony later this year. Okay, so what exactly is Be Raw? What's so special about it? When light comes into the camera through the lens, it hits the camera sensor and it registers that light as an electrical charge on the sensor's photo sites. This is like how the light hits the back of your eye and registers an image on your eye's retina. To make an image, the light information goes through a process called debayering, and it's the way that the photons from light are converted into red, green, and blue wavelengths, or RGB. When you're shooting in Be Raw, it's like you're carrying around the photons in your pocket, because there is no image formed yet. You'll see why this is important later. Why would you ever want to use Be Raw? To answer that, let's look at all the space those photons are taking up in your pocket. If you're shooting in an uncompressed format, like ProRes, you're using a constant bit rate of 1108 megabytes per second. The image will look excellent, but your media will fill up quickly. Now listen, if you record at a constant bitrate but in Be Raw you are still going to get a great looking image, but only use 296 megabytes per second. That's a lot less. That's money in your pocket. But if you're smart, you're going to want to shoot in Be Raw, however using the variable bitrate mode, and here's why. When you are shooting a scene that is static and it isn't too complex, like you and your mates in a pub, your file sizes will be even smaller than when shooting at a constant bitrate. But when you're shooting a scene that is dynamic, like a brawl at 2 AM, the files will be captured at an even higher quality than compared to the constant bitrate, which is maxed out at 296. I leave my camera on Q3 because it gives me almost the same quality as the constant bitrate maximum of 3:1, but it only uses the file size of 8:1 compression. And I'll switch to Q0 for any VFX shots, or any shots that might involve someone calling the cops, and your quote-unquote one takes. Q5 will give you the smallest file sizes, yeah, but it will still give you a better image than the constant bit rate of 8:1. What were your camera settings? Have you been doing it all wrong? Have you not learned something yet? Okay, smart guy. The Q numbers 0 to 5 don't stand for quality, they stand for quantization, and Q0 has almost none. That means Q0 is visually lossless compared to ProRes, but without filling up your media. So you're not getting a better image with ProRes, are you? But you knew that, eh? Right. I already mentioned ProRes and why I won't use it. I want the flexibility of Be Raw for grading in post, but I will use it for off-speed recording on the Pocket 4K. I'll explain that in another video, don't be greedy. I'm also setting my Pocket 4K to video mode, which is the correct mode for shooting in Be Raw. Wait, I can hear you all saying, what? I bought this camera so that I could shoot in film mode, and I love looking at an image that's all loggy. Well, you have been watching the wrong channel, there's a better way and I'm going to show you. When you shoot in video mode on a Blackmagic camera, you're not shooting in HD or some ancient TV mode. Here's what Blackmagic says.
Video mode offers a ready-to-use Rec. 709 image suitable for general video, where colour accuracy and a natural look are desired.
That's what they say, but in an Australian accent. That's what you want, nothing else. But I'll prove it. On the Blackmagic Design website, there are samples of Ursa 12K footage to show you. Here, I'll just take these 3 clips, drop them in a timeline, and wow. Damn, will you look at that? That does not look like loggy-ass film to me. You see? These are the benefits of shooting in video mode. You get to see what you're doing in real time, so you can get it right in camera. There is no need to do any color grading. Here is what it looks like with the false color on, so I can show you how it should look on your camera when you're recording next time. Some of you might be saying, when I use my camera, it doesn't ever look like that, not even close, and you're right. That's because 1. You're not shooting in video mode, and 2. This footage was done by a professional who knows what they are doing. They have created a lighting design, and they made sure that everything looked good before shooting. I learned this from working on set with many DPs that they can take hours to set up a single 10-second shot. The footage may also look different because the camera operator could have applied a LUT to the footage in camera to make it look so damn good. Or it could be that this footage is processed and then exported in Be Raw. And if you don't know how to do that, press that subscribe button and leave a comment asking me to show you how to do that, and I will. But I'm keeping that little secret to myself if I don't get any interest. For some of you new to Be Raw, this is for you. We are going to get you acquainted with how to process Be Raw footage in the Be Raw panel of the color page in DaVinci Resolve. And some of you think you know how to do it, but now you're going to learn how to actually do it properly. I'm going to show you some sample B-raw footage that I downloaded from Film Plus Gear. It's pretty good, but I think it could be better. See, it looks a bit blown out in the highlights. Here I'll lower the gain and see if that fixes it. Nope. Looks like those highlights are gone. The videographer should have used false color on this one. Let's slap one on and see what that looks like. Look at the false color. It's not red. It's not even yellow. It's as if the false color knows that these highlights are actually not blown out. Let me show you the B-raw panel. The B-raw panel is right over here in the color page. Because this footage is recorded in B-raw, you can go back and make changes to the actual footage, not monkey around with just the dials. Oh, and if you didn't know, DaVinci Resolve knows that you are using B-raw without you even telling it. Okay, so let's see here. We can adjust the exposure, the white balance, and look at this. Highlight recovery. OMG, we can lower the highlights. That's much better. That's gotta be worth a like and a subscribe, right? We both know that I have at least taught you one thing you didn't already know. Maybe some of you know your Blackmagic cameras pretty well and you know your way around DaVinci Resolve, so you're not easily impressed and haven't learned anything new just yet. Okay, I've been saving something for you. Remember at the beginning of this video, I told you how photons of light go through the bloody camera lens and then make an image on the back of your sensor. Well, sit down. I am about to rock your world. See, some people have an accident and one of their eyeballs gets all buggered up and they can't see. Their sensor, the retina, is fine, but their eyeballs are useless. Well, surgeons over in Canada just did this procedure for the first time in February 2025. It's been done in other places, like in the UK, but this was the first time for a Canadian hospital where they restored an eyeball. Now listen, you haven't heard how they do it. They do it with a tooth. You heard me, with a bloody tooth. They remove a tooth from the patient's mouth and drill a hole in it. Then they add a tiny lens to the tooth. You're going to ask me, why a tooth? That's because you don't know that your body's immune system knows your tooth is a part of you because they keep the root intact, so your body won't reject it like it would with someone else's eyeball. But wait, there's more. They take the tooth with a hole in it and they sew it into the inside of the patient's cheek, and in a few months, the tooth has a pile of cheek skin growing around it. They then take the cheeky eyeball and sew it on top of the buggered up eyeball. Now the light goes through the lens in the hole of the tooth and creates an image on the retina, and people go from being blind to bloody skiing, and that's not an exaggeration. That really happened with one patient. 27 years later, of the people who have had this surgery in the UK, Australia, and 8 other countries, 94% still have their sight. Now come on. If I didn't just teach you something, you're lying. Okay, maybe I did teach you something you didn't know, but it wasn't really B-raw related. It was dentistry related, but not anything useful for how you use your pocket camera. Fine. I have more. Remember when I told you that B-raw was a bunch of photons in your pocket, and the image wasn't even made yet? Yeah, exactly. It's just photons, no image. A Blackmagic camera records the photons, but doesn't do the debayering yet. Some people are going to argue here that they do, but I'm not going to get into the dispute over the process of debayering by red cameras and how Blackmagic does a pseudo-debayering. What matters here is that the image isn't formed yet. Let me show you. Let's go back into the B-raw panel. You see this? This footage was recorded in film mode and it's all grayed out. But that's because your settings are wrong. Let me show you what they should look like in Resolve for pocket camera owners. Go into the project settings and look at the color management. It's set to DaVinci Color Managed. You don't want that because that means DaVinci Resolve is managing your image, but we have photons in our pocket. We have to set it to this DaVinci Y RGB. The Y is the luminance information, and the RGB is the colors. You're also going to want to change these settings also. You see this? It says timeline color space. It's set by default to Rec 709. That's 8-bit colors. The timeline color space is the color space used for the color page. We don't want that in 8-bit like a little dunce. We want that in the largest color space where we will be fiddling with the grade. Set that to DaVinci Wide Gamut and DaVinci Intermediate. Always. I see people online talking about how their 8-bit footage tears when they are working in Resolve. Yeah, no. It's not because it's 8-bit. There are loads of movies filmed in 8-bit. It's because they are working in an 8-bit color space and it's wee tiny. DaVinci Wide Gamut is 32-bit color. In some respects, it's greater than what the eye can see. There isn't a screen made that can show its colors. Okay, now your output color space should be Rec 709 if you're working on any monitor that costs less than 3,000 quid, and the gamma should be set to 2.4 because that's the color of telly and the YouTube. Save these settings as your default so you don't have to do it each time. You do it here in the meatball menu. This here, that's called the meatball menu. Programmers are neurodivergent creatures that dream of someday eating real food. Now, let's head back into the B-raw panel and look at that footage again. Look at this. Those sections that were grayed out before, they're now alive. We've raised the dead. It's a bloody miracle, innit? I told you. We have gone back to the photons, to before the debayering. We get to choose what happens to the image as if this was before shooting. We can change everything now, and we're not doing it in post, we are doing it in pre. Look, that has to be worth a subscribe and a like. I mean, a tooth eye? Completely changing your camera settings in post? I didn't teach you one thing? For some of you, your minds are blown, and come on. Do it. Do it right now. Leave a comment, make a request. Leave an apple for your teacher in the form of a subscribe. I'll make a video about anything Resolve or Pocket cameras related. I have something else to show you. It's pissing outside, so this footage isn't going to look what you would call great, but I want to show you something that has to be shown with the camera. See this? This is on the record menu of your Pocket camera. It allows you to add a LUT to your footage and bake it in so that it looks like what you want in camera. You have to be careful though, the LUT is baked into the footage, so once you press record, the LUT is on there forever. See? There's even the word LUT showing up on the screen to warn you. I'm using this day for night LUT so that I can show you that the LUT is baked into the footage. But what did I tell you about B-RAW? Are you daft? Photons, remember? There is no image yet with B-RAW. That means you can go into the B-RAW panel and take the LUT off as if it was never there. Now think about it. You can go and do a day for night or a night for day with a LUT, do your best in camera, and then later when you look at your footage that's all shit, you can change it all as if you knew what you were doing. That has to be something you didn't know. This is Gut Punch Media. I rarely make videos, but when I do, it's to answer your questions about Resolve and Blackmagic cameras. I'm telling you, if you own a cinema line of Sony cameras, B-RAW is coming with a firmware update, so share this video with a mate who has a Blackmagic Pocket camera or a Sony FX3 and won't shut up about it. And Windows users, you can now work with ProRes footage thanks to Blackmagic Design and their latest update to Resolve, but you're going to want to use B-RAW because B-RAW is the bloody bomb. There's no sponsor for this video, and no adverts. No rubbish interruptions telling you to get Wix. Subscribe now, you'll learn more with the next video, and your friends will finally respect you. Thanks for watching, remember our deal.